Hi, I'm Nick, and in today's video I'll be taking a first look at the Shimano SLX rear derailleur in 11 speed, which is the GS, I believe a medium-sized cage. Similar to the cassette, it is also a product of Japan, and on one side of the box it does indicate it's for 11 speed. I would have opted for the Shimano XT rear derailleur, however they were out of stock at the time I was looking to purchase them, so I went with Shimano SLX and ended up getting this rear derailleur. There shouldn't be too much difference except the length of the cage. This also has a one-page product manual. There are multiple columns in this safety manual, however the other ones are in different languages, so for the purpose of America, I'm just going to show the English portions here. So this SLX rear derailleur is equipped with a clutch, and a clutch makes it so the cage plates here the arm does not swing back and forth as much, especially if you're on a mountain bike, and it swings when you're going over rough terrain. Stock, this SLX 11-speed rear derailleur comes with the clutch in the off position. Here's a close look at that with the clutch, and this, to move it on, you just snap it and move the lever over. This is the B screw right here, and that's to adjust when you're in the rear derailleur. You're using it to move this derailleur forward or backwards depending on how many gears the cassette has. The attachment bolt to the frame or derailleur hanger is right here, and this is how you attach it to your bicycle frame. Here is where the housing goes in to the rear derailleur, and the bolt comes through and attaches here. So if I were to squeeze this, or as you tighten it, you see the rear derailleur comes outward or inward to switch to the lower gears. On the back side it does indicate that this is a GS, and GS is for medium cage, so the distance between here and here is medium. The longer one would be slightly longer, possibly to have more capacity, as in larger chainring differences. This swing arm here goes pretty far forward, and that's pretty good. And let's take a look at the screws. So we'll start with the top screw here, and this determines how close it sits to the 11th gear, or the smallest gear. So the top screw is here. As you can see, when you're in a lower gear there's a lot of space, and then when you come back to the 11th gear it rests. So by adjusting this, it pulls the pulley inward, or if you tighten it, it pushes it outward just a little bit to align with the smallest tooth in the rear. Okay, so this one actually is the B screw, the middle one, and as you can see here, this middle one comes to this side, and as you tighten this onto your frame, if you tighten the bolt inward, it pushes the rear derailleur backwards and forwards depending on the tightness. The lower one here, now that adjusts the first gear, the biggest gear. So as you see, let me move it back, as the rear derailleur goes forward, right here it's touching. So if you wanted to go even further inward, then you just have to loosen this, and if you wanted to go less inward, you go ahead and tighten it so it connects to the bottom of the rear derailleur sooner. So as is, without anything else, no cables or housing, it comes in at 324 grams. The length of the derailleur cage from center to center comes in at roughly 95 millimeters. Let me take a look. Maybe 93, 94. Yeah, I'd say about 92 or 93 center to center. So the total capacity of this is supposedly 41 teeth. So if you have an 11 in the back and 40 in the rear, then you could only have a 12 tooth difference for the front in order to meet the capacity. Shimano also indicates that the low tooth has to be a minimum of 40, so you could fit a 46, but you don't want anything smaller than 40. Without the clutch engaged, this is in the off position, the cage here can go forward and backwards. However, when you put it in the on position, there's only very little bit of movement and locks it, so it won't swing the chain as much. It came unlocked, maybe that puts less pressure or tension on the derailleur when it was shipped. However, when you start riding it, you might want to put it in the on position, especially for the descents or the very bumpy sections. Both of these Jockey wheels have 11 teeth on them. This is the 7000 series 11 speed. The 7100 series, I believe one of them has 13 teeth to hopefully make less rolling resistance or less, drivetrain frictional losses. And I've heard that larger teeth or more teeth on the Jockey wheels slightly decreases the drivetrain resistances, increasing efficiency. And now we're finally going to take a look at the bolt here, and it looks like you just use a maybe 4mm and you stick the cable through here, and there's a clamp to go ahead and sandwich the cable in, and it looks fairly robust. Let me look at the back side, and it looks like here there's plenty of area around it, so you could tighten it down without having to worry about it getting stripped. Now I have accidentally stripped a rear derailleur cable bolt, but only on a SRAM 10-speed GX rear derailleur. So this one looks a little more robust, and I'm glad it is. Also, another thing to note here is there is no built-in barrel adjuster. 10-speed and other Shimano rear derailleurs, they have a barrel adjuster to tighten or loosen the cable. However, this does not have it, so I'm assuming that they're putting one on the shift lever instead. The barrel may have only added half a gram, 2 grams, 3 grams, not much, but just the convenience of having a barrel adjuster I think is definitely worth it, especially for the, well, for all the rear derailleurs, but they have them on the 10 speeds and other speeds as well. It's always helpful to have a little more adjustment for fine tuning. The bolt attaching to your rear derailleur hanger has some grooves on it, hopefully to grab on to the rear derailleur further to prevent it from slipping or moving after you tighten it down. It's also not pre-greased, so you may want to grease it when you install it or before you install it. Maybe a little hard to see, but the spring is actually greased, so if you have a lot of miles on your rear derailleur, it may be wise to grease your rear derailleur spring because they come factory greased. Now I'm going to take a look at these Jockey wheels because it is brand new. Sometimes there's resistance. So this one spins, I guess, fairly easily. Oh, this one spins real well. So this is a brand new, how it's supposed to spin. And this one doesn't spin as well, but maybe as you break it in a little bit, then it'll start spinning better. Well, there you have it, the Shimano 11-speed rear derailleur GS medium cage. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them in the comments section below. And if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe. It's absolutely free. If you have found any part of this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And as always, have a most wonderful day.